What's up guys, it is Starflord here, and today I'm bringing you a brand new Dragon Age video, and this is the Infinite Mana Rift Mage video with hopefully fine audio. Now, just before we get into this is a level 23/22 build if you were wondering, and also I'm going to be doing this a tiny bit differently where we do more combat and kind of skip over some of the spells, so to speak. We're just basically going to go through the spells much quicker. So leave a comment below what you guys think about this style, whether you think you prefer this one or do you prefer the old way I did it. I really do wonder what you guys think, and I'll try and read every single comment as soon as I can. So let's just get straight into this. So we are taking Veil Strike and that Stone Fist with the upgrade of Shatterstone and Punching Down. Both of them taking the weakened upgrade, which gives the 10% weakened duration, which is key to this build, as we are taking Restorative Veil, which means the 10% of the damage we deal is recovered as mana. And it is pretty insane when used in the right build. We're taking Smothering Veil, which means enemies will deal 30% reduced damage, which is always nice. And then we're taking Pull of the Abyss with the Devouring Veil upgrade. Now, originally I was taking the Shaken Veil upgrade because I thought we need Weaken, let's take it. But for such a high mana cost, the damage that you get from it is actually much more effective with Restorative Veil. And turns out that the Shaken Veil actually bugs out sometimes and doesn't apply a Weaken at all. So just don't take the Shaken Veil upgrade. It for some reason is broken and doesn't work. Just take the Devouring Veil. It's much better, much cooler as well, and you're going to deal an insane amount of damage. Next, we're going into the Winter Tree, and we're going to take that Fade Step with the Energizing Step upgrade, so that whenever we get to that point where for some reason we aren't getting mana back, and it will happen every now and then, we then have this spell that can come in and give us that 25% mana per enemy hit, and also it can be used as a defensive. Then we're taking Winter Stillness, which gives us 50% mana regeneration bonus when we are stood still for 3 seconds or longer, and this is really nice with all the defenses we're getting from the Smothering Veil and now Ice Armor that we'll get in a second. So we're getting more mana regen on top of our current insane mana regen from Restorative Veil. Then we're going down to Ice Mine to get the Ice Armor, which gives us a 50% damage reduction when we're next to a Cold Persistent spell, which happens to just be Blizzard. Now with Blizzard we are taking the Ice Storm upgrade, which means it deals 75% bonus damage and has a chance to freeze. And the reason we're taking this is because we just want the Blizzard to basically be endless, and it will be. It's pretty insane with this build. Not only is it infinite mana, it usually is infinite Blizzard, and it is so good, and also so satisfying to see basically a permanent Blizzard out. Now let's go to the last part of this build, which is the Chain Lightning, which has 4 hits, and then we're getting the upgrade to then get an additional 2 hits. Now, the reason we're doing this is because we basically want as much AoE and just distant and damage on as many targets as possible, as frequently as we can, and Arcing Surge gets that, and that's why when we go into the very common Energy Barrage that you guys know I love, we are taking the new Energy Storm upgrade. This isn't something I have really dealt with. I usually take the Energy Bombardment, and the reason it works so well is because with this build we will be centering all of our targets pretty much permanently, and we want to just hit as many of them with as much damage, and this Energy Storm is actually insane in this build, and it is so fun to use. Now in this build, originally we're going down the right side rather than the left, because we are taking Conductive Current, which means you get 5% extra damage for every 10 missing mana. And the reason we're doing this is because there are those situations where we are very low on mana sometimes because of some reason our combo is messed up. And so due to that, sometimes you are very low and you can't do anything but use a weakened spell, and so this gives you the ability to get up to 100% mana much quicker when you are on lower mana, which is basically what this build is all about. Then we're going down to Static Charge, which is a bit of a nice defensive just to get to Static Cage, which means if any enemies try to leave it, they will be pulled to the middle and paralyzed for 2 seconds. And we're taking the Lightning Cage upgrade, which means every time they take damage inside the cage, they will take an extra 50% weapon damage, but as a separate attack, which is pretty damn awesome. Now, All of this together basically gives us this huge wombo combo AoE class, and I'll be able to get into combat real soon to show you guys what it's about. But first I want to show you the upgrades that if you're above 23/22, what you want to take. Now originally, of course, you want to go down into the Encircling Veil and Twisting Veil to make sure you get more damage and more duration on things like your chills, your freezes, your paralyzes, and most importantly, your weaken duration. Then we're going to go down into the Inferno to then take Immolate, if it would let me. Can I? Please? There we go. To get down into Flashpoint and then Clean Burn. Now, the reason this is so insane is because we will basically have infinite mana. So we'll be able to use our spells as many times as we can, which means with Clean Burn, we should hopefully get our spells back quicker, and that takes us to the last upgrade, which takes us down into Gathering Storm. So overall, this build completely applied is a level 30/29 build. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little overview of the build. Will go into some much longer combat to explain the build properly, so let's just get right into it. So guys, let's get straight into the combat. I'm just going to go through each spell individually so that you guys understand how these spells work, so you can better use this build, and that's what really this is for. So we're going to start off with Stonefist, and the way Stonefist works is kind of like Walking Bomb. It won't consume mana until it hits the target, which is really useful because on a weakened enemy, it will mean you basically lose no mana, you just gain mana, which is amazing. And this works best when you're around the 50 mana area, and normally you would use an energy barrage, but the problem with that is if you were using Blizzard, you would then run out of Blizzard because you wouldn't get the mana in time, whereas in this situation you would now better prefer to use Stonefist so that you don't lose the mana and you gain the mana, and then use Energy Barrage, and that's just a better case. So now let's just quickly get on to Pull of the Abyss. Now this works just like most. It will consume the mana and then give you a ton back. So that's extremely useful. High mana cost, high damage, but then obviously you get all your mana back from it. Then we are going to look at Energy Barrage. This works as normal, just like Pull of the Abyss. You will cast it, you will use your 50 mana up, and then only when it hits the target do you get your mana back. And the strange thing with Energy Barrage is you've got to also remember it deals damage per projectile, so you won't get all your mana back straight away, but it will come back pretty quickly. And the one cool thing with this is that if you use a spell straight after the first hit of Energy Barrage has landed, or pretty much straight away after you have cast Energy Barrage, you will be more mana efficient. And the way this works is, imagine the first 4 of the 12 projectiles hit the target, and then you are 100% mana. So now we are moving on to Chain Lightning, and the good thing about this is that it gives you your mana back pretty much instantly. It doesn't have a cast time like Pull of the Abyss or Blizzard, and it doesn't have a travel time like Energy Barrage, so when you cast it, a split second will go, and then you will get your mana back. So now we're going to get into 2 combat analysis, one on the 3 mobs and the next on the larger pack of mobs. This is obviously on Nightmare with Trials, and we're always going to start off by using Punch Down to weaken them, into a static cage straight away, then into some auto attacks, into an Energy Barrage, and then from that Energy Barrage, pretty much as soon as you can, into a Blizzard. That is the opener of this build. There is pretty much no other opener, apart from sometimes maybe using Pull of the Abyss, but this is the generic opener that you want to use, and I'll write it on the screen now. Now, the reason you also want to do this is it's really good for mana efficiency, especially with the Energy Barrage Blizzard, as I was explaining with the Energy Barrage, you want to use something as soon as you can after it so that you don't waste the mana gain from Energy Barrage, so we have a higher mana efficiency. So that is a really basic fight, showing you guys the opener and how to do it. So in this next fight, I do make a few mistakes towards the end of the fight, but it's really useful to show these mistakes to you guys to show what not to do. Now, in a big pack like this, you should have Ring of Doubt and then try and attack and then go into stealth. This will then mean
enemies will all gather in a big bunch for you, and just to exploit this, it is really nice to use. If you guys don't know how to get stealth on the mage, go and look for my Ring of Doubt video on how to get it. It is really useful, and it's probably one of the best rings in the game. So, like last time, we're going to go start with the generic opener, where we punch down, static cage, energy barrage into Blizzard. Now, in this huge pack, I then pull of the Abyss. Usually I pull of the Abyss second, and now I start using everything, and you could see the amount of times I am pulling enemies into the middle and just basically CCing them. And I've nearly killed pretty much all of them already, and they haven't even been able to get up to me. Now, this is where things go wrong after such a nice start, and that was a really nice start to show you guys the sheer power of this build. They can't move. When they try and get out of static cage, they get pulled to the middle. Then you start casting Pull of the Abyss, they get pulled to the middle. You then start paralyzing them and then Pull of the Abyss more, Shatterstone to knock them back, and it is crazy, especially with them Blizzard chilling them and then freezing them as well. So it is an insane wombo combo, and as you could see there, it was mad. And this is also an elite marksman, but now this is kind of where it goes a bit more downhill and then goes back up again. So I did think I was in stealth, not too bad. He has only got one hit here. And what I really should do is probably punch him down and start CCing the hell out of him, which I'll do later. But for some reason, I decide to put a Blizzard down, which has a cast time and therefore puts me behind. But now, this is where you can see the build's 1v1 potential on elite mobs. Now, some mobs you just can't CC whatsoever, and it is fine. You have chills, you have a lot of mobility with Fade Step to be able to get away, and so you can utilize that, and odds are if you're going against a boss or something that can't really be CC'd, you're usually going to have a tank to help you with it. But here against this marksman, unfortunately, he doesn't really have anything that he can do, so he is just going to suffer the wrath of a Rift Mage. I used Stone Fist into a Pull of the Abyss, into another Stone Fist and Punch Down, into another Stone Fist, and then another Pull of the Abyss. And you can see this guy just isn't able to do anything. So guys, that is it. I really hope you enjoyed this style of presenting my build, more combat orientated with a bit more explanations behind them. So guys, please leave comments below on what you think of this build, what you think of how I've done this video, whether you like it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment below, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.